The Lord be with you. Reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Jesus said to his disciples, "As the Father loves me, so I also love you. Remain in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy might be in you, and your joy might be complete. This is my commandment: love one another as I love you. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you. I no longer call you slaves, because a slave does not know what his master is doing. I have called you friends, because I have told you everything I have heard from my Father. It was not you who chose me, but I who chose you and appointed you to go and bear fruit that will remain. So whatever you ask the Father in my name, he may give you. This I command you: love one another." This is the good news of our salvation. During our reflections on the Gospel of St. John, especially the 6th chapter, Jesus was the bread of life. But in this chapter 15, Jesus comes and says, "I am the vine, and you are the branches." This symbol of vine and branches goes right to the heart of the matter and explains to us who Jesus is and who we are to him. We must not underestimate the drama that was taking place when Jesus was using this poetic symbolism to explain what he was here doing and the mission from his Father. This is the Last Supper. Jesus would leave after the supper to go to Gethsemane, where he would encounter Judas with the police, temple guard, and Judas would kiss him in order that the police would know in the dark atmosphere of night who Jesus was, so that he could be arrested and ultimately put to death. And before this great tragedy, where the Master would be tortured to death, Jesus wanted his disciples to be comforted. And so in a very beautiful way, he tells us what love is all about, both in human terms and in divine terms. I am the vine, and you are the branches. Unless you live in me and I live in you, you can do nothing. But with me, you can bear fruit, the fruit that remains. when we look on the 2,000 years of the history of the church, down through the centuries. It's impossible to find out what the love that Jesus professed has produced in the history of the world on the human level. Marriage has been transformed into the sacrament of matrimony. There are schools, hospitals, but even on the more general level, persons have learned to become persons for others through the example, the teachings, and the writings of the New Testament. So we find here what our Christian faith is all about. It is not a series of rules that we must follow. It's not a constitution that was written that we have to observe. It is friendship. It is intimacy. It is recognizing that God is a divine lover who sent Jesus into our lives, and that Jesus is alive, and we can know him, relate to him in intimacy, fellowship, community, family. In the Gospel of St. John, in today's episode, Jesus says, I call you friends, not slaves. But when he appeared to Mary Magdalene after the resurrection, he tells us, or he tells her, that go tell my brothers that I'm going to my Father and their Father, to my God and their God. No longer friends, but brothers and sisters under the one Father, who is the God of all. We are members of the divine family because Jesus is the vine and we are branches in that vine.